Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Thank you very much for your time. Happy New Year is in order, right? I haven't seen you this year. Happy New Year to you.
That's true.
Great.
Many happy returns, my brother.
You look very well. The economy is doing good for you.
It's rather the opposite. Well, we look good by the grace of God, by the sheer grace and mercies of God. But you and I know the reality of the Ghanaian economy today. It is an economy in tatters, an economy in bankruptcy, an economy in a total mess, an economy that has failed under the leadership of the failed and clueless driver's mate, Alhaji Bawumia, who is the chairman of the economic management team, and which has led to untold hardships on the vast majority of the Ghanaian people today. So that is the reality. But I mean, once we have life, we have hope. We know that we are in the election year 2024. 7th December is very close. We have hope that that day will eventually come, and the people of this country will have another opportunity to pass their verdict on this corrupt, insensitive, inept, nepotistic Akufo-Addo Bawumia MPP government, and elect a new leader, a new party that has this country at heart, that has a proven track record that we can trust. I'm very convinced that the good people of this country will elect a leader they can trust, a leader who has the vision, the policies to stop the economic decline, transform this economy, and restore the nation back on the path of true development and progress, which has been missing in our national affairs in the last 7 to 8 years. So that is where we stand. But I'm happy to see you. And even though we've not met in a long time, I must say that I've been following keenly your activities, your work. And I salute you for your patriotism,
Thank
for
you
your
very
courage,
much. I'm grateful.
and for all you do for God and country.
I'm grateful.
You are a blessing to this country.
Thank you.
And it is my hope that we can get many voices like you who will speak truth to power, be it NDC, MPP, CPP, call it whatever, who will speak truth to institutions of state, hold duty bearers accountable, and provide accurate information for the education and information of the Ghanaian people. That is what you have been at all these years since I've known you.
Right.
From TV3 to here, which you have transformed, working together with your team.
This is the best studio you can find.
Exactly, the best studio. I have been to studios all around the world, not only in Ghana, all around the world. I've never seen any beautiful studio like
Thank
this.
you.
But
Thank you.
the success of this program is not just about the beauty of your studio. It has to do with the quality, content you feed your audience. And let me salute you and the solid team. This is the real solid team.
Thank you very much.
Not the so-called solid economic management team who have now gone AWOL because they have proven to be empty barrels, totally clueless about economic management, and have plunged us into the mess and the suffering we find ourselves in today.
You've been talking tough. We will jail people when we come. We will do this. This is wrong. This is a sin to the people of Ghana and all of that. Why did you just wake up one day, invite the press, and start talking tough?
I'm sure you're referring to the press conference
That's
we had
right.
on Monday. You see, one of the principles that underline the 1992 Constitution that we have promulgated for ourselves as a people is a principle of probity and accountability. When we elect leaders every 4 years and we entrust them with our mandate to manage the affairs of this country, to govern this country, we do so in the hope that they will truly serve us and that they will apply the resources of state judiciously for the benefit of the people and in line with the laws of this country. And that is why the president, even after he's elected, does not assume the reins of power until he is sworn in. The oath he swears is very, very imperative, because he swears to uphold the constitution and the laws of this country. And that, for me, is very, very important in leadership and in service to country. But unfortunately, that is what has been missing in the last 7 to 8 years.
Why do you say that?
Under the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government.
Why do you say that?
Because since they took office, it's been one case of corruption to the other. Never in the history of Ghana have we seen such wanton abuse of the public purse. Have we seen several cases of naked thievery which have occasioned the country huge financial losses. This is taxpayers' money, meager resources of state, which could have been used for productive investments, useful ventures for the benefit of the people, gone down the drain. Had, taxpayers' money lost to corruption, lost to greed, lost to selfishness. That is the biggest bane of the Ghanaian people today. Now, let me zoom in into this latest, twist to the Japa scandal, which we spoke to on Monday.
The $12 million.
The $12 million expenditure on a scam that never saw the light of day, a scam that never materialized, a scam that never crystallized, owing to the vigilance of the Ghanaian people, owing to the vigilance of the opposition NDC, owing to the vigilance of civil society, and owing to the vigilance and the work of the Office of Special Prosecutor. Now, this is not the creation of Sammy Gyamfi or Johnny Hughes. Sometime last week, we were all watching proceedings of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament.
That's right.
When the CEO of the Minerals Income Investment Fund, called MIF, appeared before the committee. This was in relation to the 2020 or 2022 Auditor General's report.
That's right.
Now, in the course of the probe, the CEO was asked by the chairman of the committee, Honorable James Aveji,
Right.
to tell the nation whether any public funds have been expended on the botched Ejapa deal.
That's right.
Because we all know that the deal was aborted. The deal today is dead under the altar. It cannot be revived because the Ghanaian people will not have none of that.
The government says they are repackaging it to bring it.
We will come to that. But at least we know that the deal was not implemented.
As we speak.
And so the chairman, in the interest of the public, wanted to know if any expenditures had been made on this deal.
Right.
Now, to our shock and total dismay, we were told by the CEO, one Edward Nanaya Kranting,
Right.
that a staggering, a colossal amount of $12 million, which today is equivalent to 153 million Ghana cedis, also equivalent to a colossal 1.5 trillion old Ghana cedis, has been expended on the aborted Ejapa scam. This is what has outraged the nation. This is what has scandalized the NDC. This is what has, outraged all of us who have this nation at heart. Because it is totally unacceptable, totally untenable. In fact, it is the height of cruelty for our government in this time of hardships, and at the time we were battling the dreaded COVID-19 pandemic, and we're struggling to even get money to buy PPEs to protect frontline health workers. We're struggling to get money to buy vaccines to protect our citizenry. It is the height of cruelty that at that time, the government decided to waste, to misappropriate this colossal amount on a fraudulent deal which never saw the light of day. Look, maybe to put this issue in the right perspective is important for us to give a certain background.
Right.
What was this whole Ejapa thing about? It had nothing to do with Ejapa. There was a clear Ejaboni deal cooked by certain elements in the ruling New Patriotic Party and the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government to appropriate for themselves our mineral royalties as a country.
But we're told that they were doing that for us.
No, so what was the deal about?
Tell me. What do you know?
As a country, we are a blessed nation. And one of the things we are blessed with are natural resources like gold, like bauxite, and so on. Now, we've given these mineral resources to various companies to exploit. So you have the gold fields, you have the Newmonts, and so on and so forth, who exploit. I mean, they mine. You know, these mineral resources we're endowed with. They have been given the requisite mineral mining leases to do that. And when they mine and they sell and they get the money, they are enjoined by law and the agreements we have signed with them to pay mineral royalties, or what is called the carried interest of the republic for us. So the people of Ghana, represented by our government, have a stake in the revenues.
Right.
Now, these revenues are supposed to be used for developmental projects for the benefit of the people of this country. And so since Ghana became Ghana, governments come, governments go. What they do is that whatever mineral resources that accrues to the nation under their tenure is what they collect, invest, or use for the benefit of the people. Now, for the first time in the history of this country, we get a bunch of people, the MPP, who, after being in office for close to 4 years and collecting their share of our mineral revenue for and on behalf of the Ghanaian people, investing it and so on, they come to tell us that, look, we are not getting enough from our mineral revenue. So what we want to do is we want to calculate or project the total mineral revenue that Ghana is entitled to in the next 15 years and over. So we want to do a projection that given the mineral resources we're endowed with, the gold, the bauxite, the manganese, in the next 15 years, what is the total revenue that will accrue to Ghana? But bear in mind that these are mineral deposits that have not even been mined. They are in the ground. Yet this group of people who are leading us, Akufo-Addo, Bawumia and co, says, we want to project how much revenue the country will get from this in the next 15 years and over. And even before we mine the mineral, we are going to use that projected revenue we expect to get over the next 15 years and over as collateral to go for a loan on the financial markets. So they sit down and they do their own calculation. And they say that based on our calculation, Ghana is supposed to get $500 million from our mineral revenues in the next 15 years. Imani does his analysis, led by a very knowledgeable young man I respect a lot. I don't know if I can even call him a young man, Mr. Bryce Simmons, and Mr. Franklin Kujo.
He's a young man.
All right. And it turns out that our mineral revenue for the next 15 years is nowhere close to that $500 million.
It's way more than that.
Way more than that. More than $1 billion and over. More than $1 billion and over. So clearly, right away, you could see that they had undervalued our mineral revenue so that they could shortchange the country, so that they could rip us off. So they undervalued the mineral royalties based on their own warped projections. And then they say that they want to use that undervalued projection of $500 million to go to the capital market and take a loan of $500 million and spend the money today under Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, they will spend the money. So that even after them, when successive governments come and we mine our gold, bauxite, and so on, and we get revenue, and these governments are supposed to use it to implement their vision for the country, for the people to see development and progress and all that, they will not be able to do so. These successive governments will have to collect the mineral revenues and use that to pay the loan Akufo-Addo and Bawumia took and spent in their time.
But they also suggest that your government also wanted to do something like Ejapa, but it's just the nomenclature that changed.
Total lie.
You never thought
that
of anything?
never came up. Total lie. That never came up. So this is what we call sheer wickedness. These are not people who are only interested in stealing from today, the generation of today. They also want to steal future revenues and deprive future generations, future governments of that revenue for critical development. So all the monies they borrowed in their time is not enough. They want to do what, when we're young, we used to call carry forward.
Right.
So the money that they have
In mathematics.
the gold we have not mined, they are virtually saying we are selling our stake today. We are borrowing against that. We will spend the money today. For the next 15 years, any money you get, go and use it to pay a debt.
Are you saying there was nothing good about Ejapa?
Nothing good. A total scam, which was cooked, like I said, for the sole purpose of appropriating the mineral royalties.
But they had,
and that is what I've broken down for you. And you see, how were they going to even implement this, corrupt idea? This scam, how are they going to implement it? So they decide to set up.
You call it a scam?
Oh yes, they decide to set up a company, and they say that this company will be a special purpose vehicle for monetizing the future mineral revenues of the country.
Right.
And bear in mind, this Ejapa first featured in the records of Ghana at the Registrar General when a gentleman who happens to be the cousin of President Akufo-Addo, Gabi Ochredako, decided to register a company as a radio station, his own radio station. So when he was establishing his radio station, the name he chose was Ejapa Radio.
Right.
Then somehow he dropped Ejapa and went for Asase Radio. Then our government decides to pick this name Ejapa. They say we are registering a company, but a company is registered in a tax haven. You understand? I mean, a place where there is no transparency, a place where you cannot track the business of the company. So we will register the company there, and then we will list the company on the London Stock Exchange, so that they, the ones who have money and have stored monies in their bedrooms, like we saw in the case of Cecilia Adapa, will turn around and go and buy shares in this so-called
It was not
scam
going to
called
be open
Ejapa.
for everybody to buy.
But if it was open, those who had the money,
Right.
were the ones who
And
were
if
going to
you
buy.
didn't have
And
the
you
money,
and I don't have the money. The ordinary Ghanaian on the street doesn't have the money. They have the monies stashed in their bedrooms. So they were
You
going.
don't know that for a fact.
Oh, at least we saw. I mean, the case of Cecilia Adapa. Okay, now this was what they planned. So this was total state capture, a total agenda to capture the mineral royalties of this country, and that is why the NDC said, "No way, we will not agree to this." That is why we stood with the people of this country, and every step of the way we opposed it. When the deal came before Parliament, we voted against it. Our presidential candidate at the time, and inshallah, the incoming president of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the nation builder, promised at the time that if he had won the 2020 election, he would have abrogated the deal. The NPP never listened. All the civil society organizations in this country, from PIAC to Ghana Integrity Initiative to ISODEC to ASEPA to ASEP to Imani, kicked against this deal. They said it was inimical to the national interest and that our mineral revenues had been undervalued and we were not getting value for money and so on. The government simply didn't listen because they were hell-bent on fleecing the state.
Now, I remember a tweet by Gabi Ochredako that said that there's a combined 80-year experience of Charles Edubuahin, Yasafo Mafo, and Ken Oforiatte and all of that put together. That was unparalleled. And so this was going to be the best thing. And you can't just wish it away with words. You remember that, right?
All that, you see, when somebody wants to steal from you, they will, to carry favor with you, they will tell you everything you want to hear. They will tell you anything that will make you happy. Anything that will make you think that they have your interest at heart, when the opposite is the case. So that is what they were doing. All that was part of their tricks. It was part of the lies to deceive the Ghanaian people, as though what they intended to do through ዔmpty was right, when it was a total rip-off, a total scam, as I have explained to you. So we all kicked against it. And I want to salute civil society for the human job they did, working hand in hand with the opposition. Now, the government, very characteristic of them, managed to get their complicit members of parliament to bulldoze the deal through. Fortunately for us, and this is the most important part, part of the whole story, Martin Amidu, then special prosecutor, took up the matter.
Right.
And conducted what he called a corruption risk assessment.
Right.
And when he published the report, we were all scandalized by the details. Not only did the report corroborate our long-standing position as a party and the position that civil society organization had taken, but the report revealed many other startling things.
For example?
That there was procurement rigging in the whole transaction. And that data bank, which belongs to the finance minister, owned by the finance minister at the time, Ken Oforiatta, and cousin to President Akufo-Addo, who was not even part of the initial arrangement, had been smuggled into the process. They, together with their foreign partners called Imana. And he exposed that procurement rigging, meaning that the whole deal and the mandate agreement which arose from same were void on grounds of illegality, because it violated the public procurement law according to the Office of Special Prosecutor established by this own government. Then the finance minister, the Office of Special Prosecutor told us again in this report that the deal was also fraught with many statutory breaches.
Right.
And that because of the foreign component of the deal, it had to go to Parliament for approval. At the time, it had not gone to Parliament for approval. He cited breaches of the Public Financial Management Act and the Constitution of Ghana, and said because of the opacity surrounding this company called ዔmpty, which was supposed to operate from a tax haven, he raised serious issues about potential money laundering and said that this deal was bad for the country and must be aborted. Now, this report of the Office of Special Prosecutor, coupled with sustained pressure from the NDC and civil society and the media, was what eventually compelled President Akufo-Addo to drop the deal. Because he saw defeat coming. He saw that if he had insisted on pursuing the deal, the people of this country were going to protest by voting against the MPP in 2020. Elections were close, so he did the politically convenient thing and said, okay, I am suspending this deal pending the 2020 elections.
Was ዔmpty cooked on the basis of law, on the altar of law, for example, that it satisfied all the legal prerequisites, composite laws?
If the deal was fraught with procurement breaches, procurement rigging, statutory breaches, then it could not have been built on the altar of law.
One of the things that Martin Amidu said was that we had signed a deal on a non-existent law.
Exactly.
That the president has signed.
And that you cannot put something on nothing,
right,
and expect it to stand, like the lawyers will say.
But why? So, because we had transaction advisors who were paid to guide us on every step of the way.
The recruitment or the engagement of the transaction advisors itself was fraught with illegalities. Because like I said, the transaction advisor, in this case, Data Bank and their foreign partners, were not even part of the bid. They were smuggled into the whole process through the back door against the law, according to the Office of Special Prosecutor. So the whole thing was so messy, so dirty, so scandalous, so unlawful, that they had to be stopped, and the president had no option than to stop it. So he said, we are not proceeding any further. And like that can say, so if the deal didn't come on, why then must our government spend $12 million, equivalent to 1.5 trillion old Ghana cedis, on a deal which never came to pass, a deal which never God implemented, a deal which was aborted. Why? What did you spend the money on? They say that they spend the money on consultancy fees.
Right.
Which consultants?
And processes.
Consultancy fees, rental of office space, and processes leading to the listing of that scam called Ejapa on the London Stock Exchange. Now, tell me, who spends $12 million on rental of office accommodation? Who spends $12 million paying consultants for no work done? What work did those consultants do that we can say that this is the work they did for the country? This is the value they provided. This is the benefit the country derived from. What work did they do? What work did these so-called consultants who were engaged illegally do? Here I'm talking about Data Bank belonging to Ken Oforiatta. I'm talking about African Legal Associates belonging to Gabi Ochredako, another cousin of President Akufo-Addo. I'm talking about Ben Chelenchel belonging, with Esan Koma at the helm of affairs. Right. What was the basis of the engagement in the first place? And what work did they do to merit that kind of payment?
You think we're
if the deal did not go through, if the deal was aborted, then number one, any monies paid to these entities must be refunded to the state, because this
You're
country
asking for a refund, seriously?
Listen, a retrieval. Refund is even weak. A retrieval. Because they have not provided any value. They have not provided any service of benefit to the country, because the deal did not materialize. Number two, they can't also say that, okay, we had a contract with government, so we did our work. So even if the deal didn't go through, we've done our work. Because illegality is a vitiating factor.
Right.
If the agreement which engage White and Case and their local, partners, African Legal Associate, Bensi Enchel and all that, is illegal according to the Office of Special Prosecutor. And if the engagement of Data Bank and the other transaction advisors was illegal according to the Office of Special Prosecutor, then you cannot make payments under an illegal contract.
That's right.
It's the same as what they said about the Woyome, Waterville, Isophoton cases. In those cases, in the Woyome case, for example, it wasn't that anybody stole money. Somebody says that I had a contract with government. I did work for government by helping government raise money for certain projects. And so I'm entitled to certain fees based on those contracts. The person was paid. And then somebody goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, okay, we are not saying that the person didn't work. We are saying that the agreement which engaged that person to do that work was an international business transaction. And therefore, should have gone to Parliament for approval.
That's right.
Because it was not approved by Parliament, that agreement is unconstitutional and therefore null and void and of no effect. And therefore, you cannot make any valid payment under an unconstitutional agreement.
That's right.
And so any monies made to that person should be retrieved. It's not because the person stole any money.
That's right.
That was what that whole case was about.
To
because it didn't get parliamentary approval.
Right.
So you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. If the agreement is void, no payments can be. In that case, the money was only 51 million cedis. You remember?
I remember.
And people compose songs in this country based on that.
What song?
But it was under us.
You remember?
Yes, yes. It was under us that we started prosecuting this person, only for the High Court and the Court of Appeal to acquit and discharge him.
But you paid monies that you were not supposed to pay to Woyome.
Under the NDC-1 administration, according to the Supreme Court.
That's right.
And we started the processes of retrieving it, not because the person had not worked, but because the Supreme Court says the agreement on the basis of which he did his work required parliamentary approval.
That's right.
And because he did not get that parliamentary approval, then the person cannot be paid. And so if he has been paid, the money should be retrieved. Now, in much the same way, or in similar vein, if the word of the Office of Special Prosecutor is anything to go by, and the MPP cannot resile from this because they established the office, and the president told us the kind of confidence he has in the first Special Prosecutor, Martin Amidu. And if you look at the findings, these are watertight, well-grounded findings. So far, nobody has been able to assail those findings. And so we are right to rely on those findings and say that the mandate agreement on the basis of which all these so-called transaction advisors and how do you call them, lawyers and all that were engaged were illegal, and therefore any payments to them must be retrieved from the state. Look,
How are you going to
this
do
matter
that?
cannot be treated as business.
How are you going to do that?
Look, this is a clear case of willfully causing financial loss to the states. This is clear crime. This is plain thievery. How to retrieve the money is simple.
Tell me.
Conduct a public, transparent, televised probe. Let the CEO of MIF come and give us a detailed breakdown of what they spent this $12 million, equivalent to 153 million cedis and 1.50 trillion Ghana cedis on. Summon all the beneficiaries of those payments, those illegal payments, and ascertain the legal basis of the payments which were made to them.
Right.
You will find none. Ascertain whether they did any work of value or of benefit to the Ghanaian people, and you will find none. And on the basis of that, use the law enforcement agencies to retrieve those monies. If they don't pay, go after their properties. But beyond that, put those culpable before courts of competent jurisdiction for them to be prosecuted, convicted, and sentenced to jail to serve as a deterrence to others. That when you are given the opportunity to serve the nation, you are not given the right to steal from the people.
Is this a pledge you are making on behalf of the NDC?
You are given the responsibility to manage state resources judiciously.
Is this a pledge you are making on behalf of the NDC?
With the full blessing and approval of the flag bearer and leader of the NDC, by the grace of God, the incoming president of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama,
Right.
who says I should tell the nation that this is one of the first investigations, one of the first actions that his government would take after assuming office on 7 January 2025. And we are very optimistic that Ghanaians will give us the opportunity. There is no way we can get justice under Jack Toronto's younger brother. There is no way we can get justice and accountability under President Akufo-Addo or the MPP or Alhaji Bawumia, because Alhaji Bawumia himself is an accomplice of the corrupt schemes of this government. He is himself corrupt and has engaged in many acts of corruption.
But you don't have proof. You have proof.
Oh, we have proof, and I'll talk about that. And we must answer for those corrupt acts himself. So that person, who himself is supposed to be prosecuted for his role in orchestrating the stinky PDS deal, which according to the IEA occasioned a financial loss of $2 billion to the states, and so on. That person cannot lead this fight against corruption. His hands are dirty. Again, he is a puppet of a corrupt president. And he is only coming to cover up their ills and to shield them from post-government accountability. Our surest bets of getting probity, accountability, transparent investigations that will lead to retrievals of these state resources that have gone into the wrong accounts, wrong pockets. Our surest bet of seeing prosecutions and punishments lies in voting for the incorruptible, visionary, experienced, trustworthy nation builder, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Sammy, let me ask you this question. In the corruption risk assessment that Martin Amidu did, he also called the president the mother serpent of all corruption.
Yeah.
Some say he was not fair to the president by labeling him like that.
You know,
because if the president had confidence in you to make you special prosecutor, he had a lot of confidence. You come back and you call him literally a thief. I mean, how do you do that?
you see, even though Martin Amidu was appointed by President Akufo-Addo as special prosecutor, he understood clearly that his fidelity was to the people of Ghana and the constitution, and not to the president as an individual. And so the fact that he was appointed by the president did not stop him, rightly so, from exposing the president when he sought to use his position of power and influence to interfere in the investigations. Because according to Martin Amidu, the president did everything under the sun to prevent the publication of the report, the corruption risk assessment report he put out. He did everything under the sun to frustrate the investigations. In fact, according to Martin Amidu, at some point his life was even under threat. His life was even under threat. Okay, so it was because of that interference by the president who came into office on the back of a promise to protect the public purse, on the back of a promise that he was too old to steal our money, on the back of a promise to fight corruption. It was that disappointment which led Martin Amidu to describe him as the mother serpent of corruption. You know how the serpent behaves?
I don't know. Tell me.
Oh, the serpent is a very deceptive animal. And that is why, of all the animals in the Garden of Eden, it was a serpent the devil decided to use to deceive the woman Eve to eat of the forbidden fruit. And so Martin Amidu just likened President Akufo-Addo to that serpent, that corny scammer of an animal called the serpent. He pretends, here I'm talking about President Akufo-Addo, not to be corrupt. He pretends to be too old to steal our money, yet he is the main man behind all the shady deals, behind all the crafty and sleazy deals which have plagued this nation in the last 7 to 8 years. And like I said, have occasioned huge financial losses to the state. So he was right in describing him as the mother serpent of corruption. But how then do you expect the baby serpent of corruption,
who is
Alhaji Bawumia?
He's a baby serpent.
Yes.
Okay.
To prosecute the mother serpent of corruption. Today, hasn't Bawumia named Akufo-Addo as one of his campaign advisors?
It's a party that did. Not
No. The campaign team was set up by Bawumia. The party only announced it. And the advisors of Bawumia, number one, President Akufo-Addo. How can Bawumia now perish that thought, and decide to prosecute or to hold his advisor accountable? Can that work?
But he's not there alone. There's Chairman Freddie
But at the end of the day,
there's President
number one, Akufo-Addo. So you can see that Jack Toronto and his junior brother, they are like Siamese twins. Siamese twins. He's the one advising him. He's the one telling Alhaji Bawumia, do this, do that, do that, do that. How can Bawumia come and say, Akufo-Addo, you gave John Mohammed's duty-free shop, the one he built for Ghana, at Terminal 3 at Kotoka International Airport, to your daughter? I'm taking it back. Can Bawumia say that? Can Bawumia say that he is taking the CIP lounge at Kotoka, which John Mahama built for Ghana, which Akufo-Addo has given to his family and friends, Sarah Tuata and Co, Femi Adetola, wife of Asante Bediatu and Co? Can Bawumia say, I'm taking it from you and I'm giving it to the Republic?
Are they not paying for the space?
But how did they get it in the first place? Did they bid for it in a competitive process? Or because of their close proximity to the president, they just took over it? Are they even paying commercially competitive fees to the Ghana Airport Company? Why? Are they the only people who can manage those facilities? Can Bawumia take that from Akufo-Addo? He can't, because Akufo-Addo will remind him that, Mahmoud, remember, I made your brother-in-law, who was not even an MPP member, Deputy Director of NADBO, Abu Ramadan.
Deputy Director General.
Deputy Director General.
Right.
I made your father-in-law, Alhaji Ahmed Ramadan, I made him the ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, even though he was not an MPP member, former national chairman, PNC. I made your black sister CEO of the Northern Development Authority, and until recently, Minister for Gender.
Right. Haji Alariba.
Haji Alariba. I made your blood brother, Alhaji Mumuni, I made him technical advisor to the Minister for Interior, even though that position never existed. I created it for you, Bawumia. I have ensured that your brother's companies are awarded contracts based on sole sourcing. Cocoa Road contracts, left, right, center. Who come there? Abraham Bawumia and the wife. Awarded contract based on sole sourcing. It's a whole expose that we will do. We'll hold a press conference on this.
I see.
You understand? So, because Bawumia himself is part of the rot, his hands are dirty. And his master, his boss, his senior brother, and now advisor is Akufo-Addo. He can never win himself. off the influence of the mother serpent.
You clearly are scared of the MPP's campaign team. The venerable Joyce Ayi is
I'm
there.
very scared of them.
They're scared that they will win you.
No, I'm scared of them.
That what?
Because
Dr. Anyas is there.
they are too corrupt. That if you allow them anywhere close to the seat of government again, we will not have any nation called Ghana in the next 4 years.
The MPP's campaign team.
Massa.
That has recently been constituted. Break it down for me.
I will deconstruct the team for you,
Right.
but let me just stay focused on this and wrap it up. Then I can come to the so-called campaign team. So that is the issue. This cannot be business as usual. We want to see retrievals of these funds. We want to see prosecutions. We want to see punishment. Johnny, we are talking about 153 million cedis. Not 15 million cedis. Not 50 million cedis. Not 100 million cedis. 153 million cedis. Do you know what this gargantuan money can do in Ghana's bankrupt economy today? Do you know? You have been at the forefront of that advocacy against many, many problems that Ghanaians are facing in their communities and so on. Advocating for government to act. Not too long ago, you broke the Kolebu
the renal
dialysis, issue. When the Kolebu hospital decided to illegally increase the cost of dialysis.
That's right.
And at some point, had to even shut down the renal unit. For many months, the renal unit of our largest teaching hospital was shut down. Why? Because the government says that they didn't have money to clear its indebtedness to Kolebu. Its indebtedness worth only 4 million cedis. 4 million cedis. This is what pains me. This is what sometimes makes me feel like crying for Ghana. This is why when I sleep, I can't close my eyes. That you cannot afford. Akufo-Addo and Bawumia says they don't have 4 million cedis to pay their debt at the renal unit at Kolebu, which then leads to the shutdown of the renal unit and the avoidable debts, the painful debts of 19 of our citizens. 19 people died for nothing because of 4 million cedis. And yet you can spend 153 million cedis on nothing. On a scam that never materialized, on a scam that never benefited the country.
Sammy, we have to make progress. We don't have too much time.
Johnny. No, just 2 minutes to tell you what this money could have done. Look, today in Ghana, go to our hospitals and go and see sick people lying on bare floors. Go to our hospitals and go and see the state of oxygen machines, even for the few facilities which have such equipment. Many don't have. Go and see pregnant women lying on bare floors. Go to our schools. Even in Wege, a school like Wege, we are told that children today are sleeping on bare floors because there are no beds. Students are still schooling under trees. People are drinking water from streams that look like chocolates today in Ghana. People have woke up today, this morning, when they don't know where the next meal will come from. National service personnel have worked for 4 months without any pay. That small allowance of less than 1,000 Ghana cedis, the government says it doesn't have money to pay. The government of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. Today, NAPCO beneficiaries who worked for this country are owed the allowance of 700 Ghana cedis for more than 9 months and are still sitting home after they were promised permanent employment. We are a country in bankruptcy, a country that cannot even pay its debts.
I think your point is
people are suffering. And then you take, Johnny, you take this humongous money, $12 million, 1.5 trillion cedis, and you waste it like that. And you want us to keep quiet? You want all of us to be accomplices to this cover up? No way. This is the time to stand to be counted. Johnny, and it is about time we revisited these issues. I know you are doing a yeoman's job. You know what they are expecting? They are expecting us to talk about this matter for a week and stop, but we will not stop.
You won't?
We will demonstrate on this matter, demanding our money.
But you stopped talking about the 52 million that was transferred from the GCB account. You remember that? You stopped talking about that.
This is the election year. You see, you must sometimes appreciate the handicap of the opposition.
What is
when
your
you
handicap?
have the most corrupt government in the history of Ghana, reigning and misgoverning the country. And every day there is one scandal after the other. Sometimes you even lose count. And you don't know which one to talk about. But in this year, we are going to have different platforms. Very soon, we'll be launching a platform called NDC 360.
I see.
On this NDC 360, which will be airing on various social media pages and also on traditional television networks every Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. We'll be dealing with most of these scandals and we'll be reminding Ghanaians and we'll be demanding accountability. We'll be demanding action in the interest of the Republic of Ghana, because this is the only country we have. We don't have any country aside Ghana. We are Ghanaians first before being NDC or MPP or CPP. Our loyalty should be to Ghana. And that is why we must all stand up and be counted. We must all speak up against this naked thievery called Ejapa. And we must demand for refunds. We must demand for prosecutions. We must demand for investigations and so on. Okay. Because until we do that, President Akufo-Addo, Alhaji Bawumia, and the ruling MPP, this corrupt bunch of people,
let's spend the last 6 minutes, 3 minutes apiece for each. One, the MPP's campaign team. And yesterday, Dennis Miracles Abuaji was calling out. He's the spokesperson for the campaign. Said, "Look, you need to also bring your team because literally you seem to be missing."
So, which one do you want me to answer first?
What do you say? What do you say to the team? The team is, they say they are formidable. They are coming for you, and there's nothing you can do about it. What do you say?
They had a campaign team for the Aseno by-election. You recall I was the manager for the NDC's campaign in Aseno.
I remember.
All these people, they were in Aseno. From their national chairman to general secretary to their national organizer.
Everybody was there.
All of them, they came. They came them with bags of money. That is all they had. They came with cutlasses, with warranting boots, with weedy size. Tracks of them. They still lost miserably. Their time is up. Ghanaians are tired of their economic mismanagement. Ghanaians are tired of the economic hardships. Ghanaians are tired of the economic collapse we have seen under them. Ghanaians are tired of the corruption and the stealing. We now know them for who they are. Ghanaians know them. The skills are off. Ghanaians can now see through their shenanigans. They can now see through all that pintimamento. So they know that they have big titles, but they are empty barrels. They have nothing good to offer this country. What didn't they say in 2016? What is the reality today? So they have nothing to offer.
The Venerable Kufuor is there. Akufo-Addo is there.
Is a very,
Freddie Blaze is there. Joyce Sai is there. Elizabeth
Ohene. They so lost. That is the latest election we had, and that is why I'm using that as the reference point.
That all of them came there,
did a rally and danced and said a lot of things. The people voted again. He is even the reason why they lost.
Oh,
he is even the reason why. Didn't you hear the gaffe he committed on that platform? You didn't listen. So listen, these people, their time is up. Look, you can see that this is a very obese team.
Oh.
Composed by a person who claims that he can run Ghana with 50 ministers. Yet his campaign team alone is more than 100 people. What they have announced are just the leaders. The team members have not even been announced. So this is a party which still believes in obesity, waste. Because they are in power. Everybody wants to chop some. A campaign with over 20 senior A's, so-called senior A's. What is their job? A complete waste. They are going to use it as an avenue to misappropriate public funds, because this is their entire campaign is going to be prosecuted by Bawumia with monies he has made through his phony digitalization schemes. They are going to use monies, public resources for their campaign. That is what. So they are scrambling over themselves to steal, and that is why they have named this obese, this elephantine-sized campaign team. The second thing about this, their campaign team. The second thing about this, their campaign team, is that it's being headed by people who have failed in the tax they were given to manage. Go and check the financial reports of STC under the leadership of Nana Komia. Go and check the Auditor General's report. I just check it when you leave here. Check the 2022 Auditor General reports. STC has been making huge losses under the leadership of Nana Komia. This man, what does he have to offer? What credibility does he have? Was he not the one who promised that the MPP will build 350 secondary schools in 2016? 2020, 4 more to do more. Was it not Nana Komia who promised that they were going to pay people's rent for them? I was saying, people bereft of credibility. I can take them one by one and discuss them, but we don't have time for that. So they have nothing good to offer. A very wasteful, obese team, discredited. They have set up the team so that a lot of people can. You see, John Boadu and all the rest, they want them to get something small to eat. The campaign money they brought to Ascend of it landed in their pockets. Those 200 Ghana cedis from Bank of Ghana. That is what will happen. They will chop the money because they themselves, they don't believe that Bawumia can win.
They don't. They don't believe that.
You think that Kwaku Kwatin believes that they can win? If he believes that, why will he reject a ministerial position? Are you a free who rejected a ministerial position? Meaning he doesn't even believe that this government, which Bawumia says he's coming to build on their record and so on, he believes that they have failed. That is why they, members of parliament of the NPP, can even reject ministerial positions, because they know the ship is sinking. They are only joining the campaign team because of what they can
Your
get.
Your 24-hour economy has been questioned on social media.
And by the way, before we go there, let me tell them that we, the NDC, we don't believe in the talking plenty. When we went to Ascend of, did you hear of a large campaign team? But we won and we won recently.
But will you have a campaign team?
We will have a campaign team, and at the right time, the flag bearer, in conjunction with the leadership of the party, will put that out.
Right.
But it is not going to be like these teams they have set up with overlaps, and I mean, you even look at the whole organogram, it doesn't make sense. It's not going to be like that. We are interested in the job. The fact that you've not heard us announce the team doesn't mean we are not on the ground. The work is on the ground. And we are working on the ground. And if elections are held today, I can tell you that the NDC and John Mahama will win it one touch. And they themselves know it. The polls say so, and Ghanaians know it.
Let's wrap up with your 24-hour economy. I'm sorry you've seen on social media people say, 24-hour economy doesn't mean anything. Explain what the 24-hour economy means. You have nothing to say. If you want to make an NDC communicator angry, just say, explain 24-hour economy to me. And you've seen that on social media, I'm sure. This 24-hour economy, what kind of animal is it?
Listen, to kick against the 24-hour economy is tantamount to kicking your bare feet against a concrete wall. You don't hurt the concrete wall, you hurt your leg, you hurt yourself. And that is why that is what the New Patriotic Party is doing to themselves. Let me put on record here, on this platform that churns out nothing but the truth,
right?
That all the flyers in circulation with the pictures of our national chairman Johnson Asiedu Nketia, Joyce Muktari, Bauer, spokesperson to John Mahama, Kwaku Boahen, Joseph Yamin, Felix Ofosu Kwache, with various quotations as attributed to them on the 24-hour economy, are all fake news.
They are
fake news. Fake news. Uttered, cooked from the stables of the New Patriotic Party. They are the ones behind it. They just use your picture, they design a flyer, and then they put something there that you have said this when you have not said that. And they know people are gullible. They know the unsuspecting public there can believe that, and so they are spreading it. I've issued a disclaimer formally on this. It is on my Facebook wall. The media has published it. And so I am serving this notice that people should be on alert for fake news. And you are going to see a lot of this fake news. Because MPP4, the anthem is, if you cannot do what? If you cannot be the player,
confuse them.
So they know they cannot discredit. If you miss the border, miss the man. Okay. So they know they cannot discredit 24-hour economy.
But have you explained the 24-hour economy well enough?
This is the first time that a political party will publish answers to frequently asked questions about this policy. Tell me when it has ever been done in this country. And if you look at our FAQs, it answers most of the issues, the legitimate questions that people have about the policy. And we have said that this 24-hour economy, what is it all about? We're saying that it is about a deliberate strategy by the government to create an enabling environment and provide the necessary incentives for private businesses and certain critical state institutions to be able to operate 24/7 round the clock in 3 shifts of 8 hours each for the purpose of transforming Ghana into an import substitution export-led economy, for the purpose of enhancing public services for the people of this country, and for the purpose, more importantly, of creating decent, sustainable, well-paying jobs. That is what it's about. number one, a deliberate government strategy.
Right.
We are not going to leave it to chance. Like Bawumia has said, if you want, operate 24/7. If you want, don't do. No, this is a deliberate strategy.
That
like
you would
it
do.
pertains in Sydney, like it pertains in the United Kingdom, where there is a deliberate strategy to encourage businesses and government institutions to operate 24/7. And you are not just going to operate 24/7, you are going to operate 3 shifts. If somebody is going to work more than 8 hours beyond one shift, you are going to pay overtime, which will be more expensive than the regular pay you pay the person per hour. You understand? So by creating these multiple shifts, you are enhancing productivity and efficiency, because the times that these businesses will not be working now, they are working and they are producing more. Not only for the domestic, to meet domestic demand or for import substitution, but also for exports.
But questions about security have been raised.
We have
Questions
addressed
about-
that.
Questions about how to formalize the economy so that
We
they
have
can
addressed all
accommodate
that.
this.
We have
Transport
addressed-
system.
You go to my Instagram page, Facebook page, Twitter page, you will see the answers to the frequently asked questions. We have said that we are going to have a special security architecture for this, made up of the state security agencies and private security companies. And we are going to recruit young people to be part of this security architecture to provide security for the various business districts and for companies that were signed onto the 24-hour economic policy. And we have said that to motivate these companies, we are going to give them cheaper electricity through what we call the time of use tariffs. So they will have special meters, time of use meters. It pertains in other advanced jurisdictions, calibrated to charge them a cheaper rate for power they consume in the night of peak hours. That is what we do. And on the issues of demand, we have said that we are going to stimulate demand by using the procurement power of the government. Government is the biggest spender in the economy. So if government decides to patronize made in Ghana goods, to patronize the services and the goods of businesses operating 24/7, they will have a market to run 24/7 and employ more
Dr.
people.
Bawumia says it's a bad idea.
Why would
That
he
you
say-
don't understand,
why would
because
he-
it's already happening. It's 24-hour economy is
As I
already
speak to
happening.
you today, do we have time of use tariffs in Ghana? Answer. Do we have time of use tariffs
I'm not
in Ghana?
Dr. Bawumia.
No, but do we have time of use tariffs in Ghana? Do we have time of use tariffs in Ghana? So clearly you can see that there's a liar talking. You believe him at your own peril. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Does Ghana today have a 24-hour economy strategy? We don't. Why is it that the UK has a 24-hour economy strategy? Why didn't the UK say that in UK businesses run 24 hours already, so we don't need a 24-hour economy? Why do they have a night tube? Do you know the amount of money the night tube gives the economy of London and UK alone? So these are people who are totally clueless about the 24-hour economy and job creation. Tell me, one. The guy read a 73-page show.
Right, Dr. Bawumia.
A page speech at the Circus, that comedy show they organized at UPSA a few weeks ago.
Come on, be kind.
It was a comedy show. Tell me one policy he announced for job creation. One. Tell me. And let's close.
Then on that note,
No, Johnny.
On that note,
tell
we are
me.
closing. But why
It was a 73-page speech. Tell me one cogent policy or strategy by Bawumia to create decent, well-paying jobs. Tell me. You see, you can't even remember any. Because the man is bankrupt in ideas.
when he formalizes the economy, jobs
The
will be
man,
created.
Bawumia, is bankrupt in ideas.
Digitalized
and
economy will
rich
create
in
jobs.
lies. Bankrupt in ideas, rich in lies. Bankrupt in solutions, rich in deception. That is Bawumia for you.
Sammy Gyamfi, I thank you very much indeed for your time. He's the National
Thanks for
Communications
having me.
Officer of the NDC, and we will upload the full version of this conversation on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube and Instagram and X page, because earlier the stream had gone up. But thanks to all the 2.7K people who have stayed with us right from start to finish. We appreciate your viewership. We have a Gobe Festival on the 16th of March.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.